the company's just as good as the people that work inside of it and the people that kind of allow it to grow and thrive and prosper. And without them, I wouldn't be able to really kind of expand it to the point that it's done and expand it even further as we're looking to in the next few years.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Seven Figure Journey podcast. I'm your host today, Brett Gilliland, and I love meeting with new business owners every episode. Today, I get to introduce the founder of Next Level Tutors. His name is Devin Radfar. And Devin, we're glad to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me, Brad.
Please give our audience a little context about Next Level Tutors so we know what you're up to, and we'll have that as the backdrop for our conversation.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you for the opportunity to come and speak with you today. Next Level Tutors was born 6 years ago out of the mission of kind of providing students with a more well-rounded learning environment that was kind of lacking in the tutoring industry. In the last 5-10 years, the education industry has just evolved immensely between shifting curriculums and kind of the change from online and person learning during the COVID era. The tutoring landscape didn't necessarily evolve with the changing needs of students and just the education industry generally. Um, so we started Next Level to really kind of provide students with that more well-rounded approach when it comes to standardized test prep and their high school course and just navigating the various obstacles that come with being a student. And so that being said, all of our tutors are college students or recent grads of college, and we really try to build a learning environment on the pillars of mentorship and guiding the students through the processes that they're going through, which in turn just makes them feel more comfortable and allows them to kind of get the best result possible. And about 2 years ago, we started a nonprofit division of our company called the Advanced Foundation, to really provide students that don't necessarily have access to these tutoring resources with free tutoring and mentorship services. So we work with students throughout the U.S. Um, that go to underserved schools that don't have access to tutoring resources and college admissions assistance and that kind of thing. We provide free tutoring services and college admissions workshops with the focus of kind of giving them the resources to be able to succeed.
Well, I love what you're doing overall, and the fact that you added this nonprofit angle to it, where you're giving back to some kids and some communities that might not otherwise have access to what you're doing is really cool.
Thank you.
So let's jump in, Devin. Our audience knows that this is a place where we're just real, and the
Yeah.
cool thing about it is we're all in this 1 to 3 million space, trying to figure out how to scale our businesses, and the team's starting to grow, and we're making that transition from scrappy, gritty founder entrepreneur to capable business building owner,
Yeah.
right? Like there's a shift there, and we're all at varying levels of making that transition. But as
Yeah.
you have been working to make that transition over the last 6 years, what
Mhm.
have you found to be helpful that might help another business owner out there?
Yeah, I think that initially it was a one-man show. It was me. I was doing all the tutoring. I was doing all the development efforts. It was just me.
Yeah.
And I think that learning how to surround myself with the right people and be able to bring on people that not only align with my vision and my values, but also really care about the company and the growth of that we're trying to achieve. It took time. I mean, the first year I brought on a team of five, and it was kind of things were kind of segmented. I wasn't really, it wasn't meshing properly. I would say after 5 years is when I was like, okay, like we've really got into our groove. We have an awesome team around us of tutors and just development people helping us with the day to day operations. And I think that that's the key. And I tell our team this constantly that the company is just as good as the people that work inside of it and the people that kind of allow it to grow and thrive and prosper. And without them, I wouldn't be able to really kind of expand it to the point that it's done and expand it even further as we're looking to in the next few years.
Yeah, and those who know me know that I can't help myself to make a comment about something you sort of glossed over. I love the point you're making, by the way, of surrounding yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
But you said to help me with the vision and the values that we had, right? Like
Yeah.
that fit with that we're about that. and
Mhm.
and so I love that you were clear about what you were up to, what you're trying to create,
Yeah.
and that you had a set of values so you knew who would belong well,
Yeah.
and you surround yourself with that right team. So
Mhm.
really cool. So you got intentional around the shared identity that you would have at Next Level Tutors, and then you surrounded yourself with people to help you make that a reality.
Definitely. Well, I mean, we don't have the traditional company model when it comes to the tutoring industry. A lot of them are older, more seasoned, experienced tutors that just provide a different learning approach. Ours is a little bit more, it's newer, it's a little bit fresher. And I think that the people that work here and the students that also work with us align themselves with that. Okay, this is actually kind of my group. This is something that I really enjoy compared to working with someone else. And I think that when people have come in the past, we're like, oh, like this isn't just the right fit for me. And I think that that's really the key to it is kind of understanding what we're trying to accomplish and looking at what we've accomplished to be able to align yourself with that vision is really important.
Yeah, super important. I can see in my mind almost the dis, the distinction between
It is.
the traditional model of, I
Yeah.
don't know, maybe somebody who's currently teaching or has been teaching a
Mhm.
long time, or even a retired teacher who's doing tutoring versus somebody who's just there, and now we're doing like this, almost like, I don't know, you didn't say big brother, big sister, but this mentoring approach, like you said,
Exactly.
right? I
Yeah.
was just there. I'm close to you in age and life
Yeah.
experience, and I can show you the
Exactly.
way. That's a
It,
cool distinction.
it's a fresher perspective. I mean, the older tutors on the market, they're excellent. They're great. They just didn't go through the same experiences that students are going through. They took different exams, learned different curriculum, and so they can't relate to students on that level to really be able to take them to the next level is kind of what we try to do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, again, love all the intentionality behind not just the naming and the strategy there, but that you have a clear vision, you've got a set of values that you've built the team around. Great stuff. Okay. I think that'll be helpful to anybody who really wants to apply those lessons in their own business. Let's shift gears a little bit here and talk about, not everything's rosy in the world of scaling our businesses. And you may be bumping up against something right now that's just been really challenging. It's been an issue for
Yeah,
you. I'd love to help with that. And in the process of helping you or giving you some thoughts, I know it'll help others as well. So, what's something that you've been experiencing recently, or it's been a recurring thing for you that you've just had a challenge overcoming?
totally. Well, I think that the education industry is particularly interesting because you're tailoring and targeting your services to two very different types of people that have very different interests.
Mm,
Because you have the person that's receiving the service, which is the student, who doesn't necessarily want to be there, was kind of forced to come, is just, it's not their favorite thing to do. And then you have the person that's paying, typically, which is their parent, who
mhm.
has very different ideals, very different motives than the person that's sitting in front of the computer and receiving the service. And so, something that's been interesting for us to navigate, and something that I've been trying to kind of find a balance as we're trying to expand further is how do I create a service model that is simple but appeases the interests of two different types of people that have very different interests in this space. And it's been something interesting to navigate because I think that as we're looking to expand, as we're looking to kind of elevate our services and bring in more clients, it's kind of navigating between, okay, from a customer service perspective, from a like service offerings perspective, how do we kind of make sure the parents are happy and satisfied with the service while also keeping it lighthearted and engaging for the students, so that they come out of it telling mom and dad, hey, like that was actually really great.
Yeah, it's a fascinating issue that you deal with in your business. As I'm thinking about it, there's not a ton of places like this where the end user is different from the buyer, right? Basically, is what
Exactly.
you're saying. And
Exactly.
and what's come to mind for me, um, has to do with, well, actually, before I jump into this, why don't you? I mean, how big a difference would this make to next level success if they were to sort of crack the code on this disconnect between the parents who are buying and the kids who are consuming, what would that mean to the business?
Well, I think that we've found a good middle ground, but it's every family that we work with is different.
Mm,
Some parents, I don't know how you parent yours because you were telling me that you have a high schooler, but
yeah.
some parents take a very hands-off approach where they're like, we trust you, do your thing, go and do it. And we'll check back in at the end of the process and hopefully it all goes well. And then we have other parents where every day we're receiving an email or after every session they want a meeting to follow up about it. And so it's finding that middle ground where no matter your parenting style, no matter your student, who they are, what they like, what they do, it's a one size fits all process because now what part of what my job has become and the rest of our team is like analyzing the family, understanding, okay, what are your motives, what are you trying to do, how are we going to work together, and then tailoring the service, which we're more than happy to do, is individualizing it to the needs of the parent, because that's one of our big values here is customization and individuality, because no two students are the same.
Mm,
But implementing from an operational perspective different practices so that no matter what your parenting style is or what your ideals are or what you want to see out of this, you'll be happy regardless.
yeah, yeah, it's a meaty issue, complex.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so if you have to lean one way or the other to optimizing we'll call it like, the customer experience
sure.
to the student or to the parent, like if you have to pick one or the other to prioritize, what is better for your business to prioritize?
A lot of people would say the parent because they're the one paying. I
Right.
think the student because they're the at the end of the day our mission is to empower the students and to make sure that they're getting the results that they want to see. And the parents will recognize those results. If a student is coming in, they're like, I'm failing my math class and I need to end the semester with a B, and they come out with an A, perfect. That's what we're trying to do here. And every tutor that you talk to at our company, if you ask them, what is your favorite thing about working here? It's seeing that growth. And I think that that's what's really important. That's something that we really try to focus on is the growth. And so hands down, I would favor the needs of the student because that they're the ones that are benefiting from the service.
Yeah, and I think it's counterintuitive because of what you said, right? The parent's paying. So
Yeah,
the old model probably was focused more on the parent, the parent,
exactly.
the parent,
Yeah,
but the real impact is with the student. And the purpose
exactly.
that you guys have is around the student.
Hmm.
So I guess what's coming to my mind for me is if you could maximize for the student's success, how would
Hmm.
that show up in your marketing to get additional students? How would that show up in reviews? How does that show up if you guys are optimizing for the student?
Yeah. So I mean, I think a big thing that we work on is standardized test prep, SATs, ACTs,
Mm,
those just college admissions exams.
yeah,
Um, and it's been interesting the last couple of years. The SAT just redesigned their exam in March. They released a new test, and so there's a lot of unknowns with it in terms of because what we're seeing right now, which is interesting, is that the juniors that we work with, which is our 11th graders, our biggest population of
mm,
students, they were the students that were online learning seventh, eighth grade, pretty fundamental years in your learning.
right,
And so now we've had to completely readapt our teaching style because 3, 4 years ago, it used to be like, we're just reteaching you these concepts. We're reviewing these concepts rather
right.
to so that you can be successful. Now it's we're teaching them. It's like as if they're taking a full-on class and we're reteaching them geometry and algebra and this and that. And so we've had to kind of navigate, okay, how do we keep this cost efficient while optimizing results? And so I think that the parents have really seen that. They acknowledge like our student, they kind of fell behind, as did a lot of students.
Mm,
And so I think that optimizing it to be cost efficient, but also generating faster results is kind of what we try to navigate, and in turn seeing those score increases and seeing um the confidence that the student exhibits is kind of what comes through our marketing and through our like reviews and this and that, because that's at the end of the day that's kind of what we try to push forward.
Yeah, so you're looking for good test scores, you're looking for confidence, you're looking for students who enjoyed the process, say good things
Exactly.
about, hey, I worked with my tutor, he or she was
Yes.
amazing, all those things. Okay. So every year we put together an event in February that's focused on the client journey, the end-to-end client journey from sales, marketing, fulfillment, all the way through to referrals and repeat purchases and all the stuff. So we bring in all these speakers, and I'm thinking about one in particular. His name is Brad Martineau. His company is called Sixth Division. Great guy, but he just really helps you get clear on the total process end to end. And I
Mhm.
think for you, you might even create the parallel process, right? The one for the
Yeah,
kid, the one for the parent.
exactly.
And when there's any sort of tension or trade-off needed, sounded to me like we're going to put the kid above the parent, at least on the outcomes that we're looking for. And so, but if you have it all mapped out, and then you can still provide enough. Well, you would have enough consistency in the process to ensure the outcomes you're looking for, while empowering your tutors to provide the personalized approach, the tailoring that each family might need. That's
Yeah.
gonna you guys have to be, for lack of a better term, like customer experience ninjas is what you have
Yeah.
to do.
I mean, that's at the end of the day, it's like it's just making sure everyone's happy. And it's great because you get to meet a lot of different type of people and you get to interact with many different types of students, many different types of parents. And so exactly that is like navigating that parallel path to make sure that the student is happy while also the parents are happy as well.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of business models out there where the purchaser is separate from the receiver. But what are some other industries that you're familiar with where that would be the case?
That's a good question. Um,
I would think, I mean, it's related to tutoring services, but any of the various like dance lessons, music
that's what I
lessons,
was thinking as
sports,
well.
right?
Yeah,
Anything where you pay to have your kid go have an experience. Uh,
yeah,
so a
yeah.
lot of that kind of stuff.
Even universities. I mean, not every parent pays for their
Sure.
student's university, um, but for the parents that do pay for their child to go to college, that's
Yeah.
also I mean, that's one of the biggest purchases I'll ever make.
Yeah, true. Good point. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I would think if I were you looking around for people who have done this well, I would definitely look into like dance studios.
yeah,
Um, I guess in sports it might be a little bit different because it's not like individual. I
mm-hmm.
mean, it is individual development, but it's more of a team environment. It might be slightly different, but there are still things to be learned out there in the
Yeah,
client experience on those types of things. I know my kids have taken music lessons. They're involved in like club sports, and you're paying an entity for services to your child, and you
yeah,
hope that they're getting what
the
they're
benefit.
looking for out of it, and that you're getting what you're looking for out of it. So, but the parallel path client journey or customer journey, I think is the way to go. You got to design that from end to end, from the marketing all the way through the fulfillment to asking for referrals or upsells or repeat business or whatever. And once you have those things all laid out, then it's like it's not like iteration. I mean, it is iteration, but it's experience. You're getting feedback from those people along
Yeah.
the way and making the adjustments that you need to
Mhm.
continue to refine it. Um, any other any other industries? Boy, that's so fascinating. Yeah, I'm thinking of where is there an investor, right? In business terms, we think about investors put their money in so that
Yeah,
businesses will get outcomes. That's
exactly.
a similar type of approach. Parents
Yeah.
investing so that somebody else gets the outcome. Um, yeah, you almost have
I
to.
think that that parallel path is very interesting. It's something that we haven't necessarily explicitly been like, okay, like this is like the parallel path that we're going to take, but it's implicit in a lot of our practices and kind of the ways that we try to interact with both stakeholders. But it's definitely something that'll come out of this thing. Like we need to set out this parallel path.
Well, and what if you could come up with an avatar that's like the perfect student avatar is like this,
Hmm.
and the perfect parent avatar is like that.
Mhm.
and then you create the experience to optimize for both of those. I think you almost start out in parallel paths so that you can see it clearly for each one,
Totally.
and then you
Totally.
come out with a combined thing later that kind of weaves in and
Definitely.
out so that you're addressing both stakeholders. But that's a
Mhm.
really good one. I'm glad that you brought that one up today. I haven't
Yeah,
had somebody bring one like that before.
I'm glad.
Yeah, so good. Okay, so Devin, um, is there any other challenge that from a leadership perspective or team perspective that we've got a few more minutes? I'd be happy to chat.
Yeah. I mean, I guess another one, I think I'm in a particularly interesting situation. I started this company when I was 17, and I'm 22 now. Everyone on my team is older than me.
Oh
uh,
yeah,
it's interesting. I mean, our tutors are around my age, but like the people that are working on the day to day operations, about 10 to 12 of us,
yeah.
all older than me. Um, and it's been an interesting dichotomy to navigate of how do I have someone that's older than me,
Got
like
more
kind of
life experience, right?
yeah, more
And
life experience,
maybe
more
more work experience. Yeah.
substantially more work experience. Yeah, because a lot of people that I work with, they have a lot of experience in the tutoring industry. They have a lot of experience with education and marketing and sales and this and that. And so it's how do I kind of navigate this team morale, acknowledging the fact that hey, I'm a lot younger than you, less experience in life, but we're gonna just work together and we're gonna collaborate. And so what I've tried to do personally is kind of emphasize the fact that this isn't a hierarchy. I'm not sitting at the top and telling you guys what to do and this and that, but it's more of a circle and we're all working together. People are responsible for different things, people are contributing different things. And it was interesting to navigate at first as how do I kind of keep this team going, keep everyone motivated while also playing a leadership role and navigating. Um, and I think that that was something that was interesting that I'm really starting to get into a good dynamic with.
Well, first of all, it takes a lot of guts to say something like that on an episode. So thank you for being open to discussing the fact that I'm a younger business owner, and there are people that I need to attract to my team who are going to have more life experience, more work experience.
Yeah,
And how do we manage this dynamic of technically I am the leader, I'm the business owner, but I might be looking to them for their
totally.
experience, right?
Mhm.
So I think you're coming from a really good place on that. Your attitude around it is healthy. And then let me just say, 10 years from now, you're going to have 10 more years of experience, but you're still going to be hiring people often that, well, maybe in your model, most of them will be younger. The tutors will be, but
Yeah.
the more experienced operations leader, marketing leader, finance leader, like
Mhm.
they're all
Mhm.
going to end up being more experienced than you, hopefully, in their respective functions, right? You want
Yeah,
somebody who's amazing.
exactly.
So this dynamic is actually not unique in all of our businesses. We need to be able to hire up. We need to level up. I'm going to use your company name
Mhm.
right now. We need to level up our talent with respect to the functional leadership that we need to
Exactly.
build out our team. So here's one thing that I'll come back to that I think is essential for anybody trying to lead a team effectively, whether the people are more experienced or less experienced. It's having that clear vision. So where you
Mhm.
started from, like here's the way that I see it, here's what I'm trying to create, and then what I would add to it, Devin, which I hope you'll find useful, is that you can learn to invite those people into a co-creative
Yeah.
process on the
Mhm.
vision. You need to have that initial idea that says
Of
I'm going to
course.
go create something, but you don't have to have high definition clarity of that idea
Of
out of the
course.
gates, right? So you can have pretty good clarity, and then you can invite some of these more experienced people in to help you get crystal clarity on that, so that you guys together now feel some shared ownership on what that future is, and the key decisions about how we're going to go make that happen in a competitive world. So I would invite them in as co-creators, and then I would continue to surround myself with whether it's peer business owners or other business owners who can help you see things that you haven't experienced yet.
Yeah.
Those are just some thoughts that I have on that issue. I think it's a great one.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said at the beginning, you're only as good as the people that you surround yourself with. And I acknowledge the fact that I need people around me that I can learn from, that I can collaborate with. one of our members was is assisting me with kind of evolving the business model to also incorporate life coaching elements into
Mm,
our tutoring services so that the students kind of have a more long-term mindset. So
mm,
really ingraining that in our business model. She brought it up to me and said, "Hey, this is like a really cool direction for us to move in." I think that kind of taking that ideas and like you were saying, like having them be a part of the co-creative process is really what kind of allows me to have the biggest benefit and allows the people that are working with us to have the biggest benefit.
yeah. Yeah. I want to share one more thought that might help you and others as well. That is that of all the hats, because it used to be just you, just like you said, and
Yeah.
that was most of us. Like I was the person, did everything. Now as the team grows, you need to settle into three hats in particular. Like these are your primary roles as the business owner, from here on out, but especially of a seven-figure business. You need to set the vision, which we've talked about at, at some length already. You need to build the team, which we've also talked about some. But I want to emphasize with build the team that it's not just hiring new people, it's developing the people that you have,
Mhm.
finding ways to grow them in their roles. And
Exactly.
if life coaching as an option allows you guys to create a longer path with your students, it's not just college prep, it's life prep, and maybe they stick around longer. That's a cool development opportunity for many of your tutors as well. So
Totally.
set the vision, build the team, and then get the resources. In order for
Mhm.
us to achieve that vision, what financial resources are we going to need? What talent are we going to need? Like, how do we assemble the resources that are necessary to achieve that vision? And
Definitely.
while you want to co-create and invite all of these more experienced people into the conversation and get their great ideas, you never want to delegate those three primary responsibilities fully to someone else. Those are yours as the business owner. So as long as you're getting clear on the vision and you're helping people to get clear with you on that, and you're finding the right people to get involved, you're going to hire, lead, and fire to that vision and those values that you have. And then you're going to make sure that we've got the financial runway to continue to grow this thing the way that we want. um, those would be the responsibilities I'd be thinking about as a young leader. Is like, how do I, or like, there's all these things I could do, but these are the three things that really constitute working on the business and will serve you well if you stay focused on those.
Definitely. I think that's a really great mindset to adopt.
All right, Devin, I would love for people to hear how they can learn more about Next Level Tutors. Maybe they have some high school kids who are getting ready for college. Maybe they have some college kids who need some help. um, Maybe they're just interested in what you guys are building and that idea of you got two constituents to serve. You got the
Totally.
parent and the student. How would
Yeah.
they find Next Level Tutors? How would they connect with you?
Yeah, so I mean, if you're interested in hearing more, we're rebranding our website right now. So it's nextleveleducate.com. And there you'll find some more information about our services and our learning model. And if you're interested in getting some tutoring, you could also navigate that on the website as well.
All right, very good. Devin, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for bringing your great issues. And for everybody else out there listening, please like, review, share, help as many seven-figure business owners as possible get access to this episode and all the other ones where people like Devin are coming and just being open and sharing the things that have helped them and the things they're struggling with. We want to help as many people as possible with these episodes. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time for another episode of the Seven Figure Journey podcast.